Former President Donald Trump visited Georgia yesterday to tour the aftermath of the damage left behind by Hurricane Helene. During a press conference, Trump falsely claimed that the Biden administration had not spoken with Georgia Governor Kemp about what the state needs for the recovery efforts.
We do need some help from the federal government. They have to get together, ideally with the governor. The governor needs to, he's been trying to get them, and I'm sure they're going to come through. But he's been calling the president, hasn't been able to get him.
Okay, so for more on the Trump and Harris campaigns, I want to bring in CBS News campaign reporters Libby, Cathey, and Navarro. Aaron's with us right here. Libby, we're going to start by talking to you first. Is the Trump campaign clarifying what he meant by those comments? Because the governor said very clearly that he had a conversation with President Biden, and President Biden reiterated that.
That's right, Anne Marie. And the Trump campaign so far not clarifying what the former president meant when he said, as we heard it, Georgia Governor Kemp has had trouble getting a hold of President Joe Biden. That simply is not true. We heard from Georgia Governor Kemp also on the ground in Georgia yesterday in a different part of the state focused on recovery efforts. He was asked about this and he said, no, Biden called him on Sunday. He actually missed Biden's call, had to call the president back. And the president expressed, do you need anything? Kemp said, we are going through the recovery efforts. We have what we need so far. And that actually speaks to another mistruth Trump repeated on the campaign trail yesterday, or excuse me, in Georgia yesterday for this recovery stop. He said that Republican areas of these devastated areas are not getting the support they need. He said this without any evidence that Trump voters in North Carolina are not getting water in recovery. There's nothing to support that claim, just like there's nothing to support his claim that Kemp cannot get a hold of Biden. But nonetheless, this is what Trump is saying. And so far, his campaign not clarifying any of that. Anne Marie.
Well, Aaron, let me ask you, how is the Biden administration, or I guess the Harris campaign for that matter, debunking these false claims or addressing them?
President Biden and Vice President Harris have said that they've spoken to both Governor Kemp and North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. And asked about it in the Oval Office, President Biden said that Trump was a liar, but said he had more of an issue with Trump insinuating that there are not federal resources for the people on the ground in these impacted areas. Vice President Harris and her campaign have not addressed this specifically, only saying that they're looking to get on the ground where it makes sense and they're not interrupting emergency operations.
Right, and Harris did, I think, release a photo of her getting a briefing from FEMA. I think Donald Trump suggested that maybe that might have been made up as well. It was interesting. Libby, let me ask you, Trump's making 2 stops in Wisconsin today. How important is that state for him?
Yeah, absolutely. Trump wants to win Wisconsin back. It is important. He won it in 2016. He did not win it in 2020, but he's got his eye on the blue wall. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. These are states that Trump is trying to get back from Democrats, and expect him to campaign a lot here in the next 35 days, Anne Marie.
Aaron, the Harris campaign launching a new ad today focusing on how a second Trump presidency would impact the Asian American community.
This is part of their investment in targeted outreach to the AAPI community. This is a demographic group that leans Democratic, but is not a monolith, and the Harris campaign recognizes that. Hence, they've really been making an effort to target even those specific Filipinos in the battleground state of Nevada, where they can make a difference in the vote.
All right. Thank you very much, Libby and Aaron.